Just coming up to 4:30, and the shape of the battlefield has changed dramatically. Here we are looking from the north. A quick overview before we go down the line. We can see that around here the Prussians and the Russians have pushed on here and round here, but we can see, well, we start from this end, we can see that the French are amassing quite a lot of cavalry here ready to charge. I think the idea is, what we're thinking is big cavalry charge around here just to slow this down, because at the moment this looks pretty unstoppable. The Russian do have some cavalry there, some Cossacks, which aren't so great against standing. They've been trying to bring up, because it's been clear what's been happening over the last hour, they're trying to bring up as much artillery, but there's not much artillery this side of the stream as much as possible. But there is quite a substantial French cavalry force. I mean, fatigued, but even so, pretty tough bunch. Now along here we can see that the French have sort of maintained their position. The Young Guards got in position here, and this is as far as the lines pushed up, and they're just getting to the stage where the Prussians deploying their guns and been taking their first couple of shots. They've been exchanging fire a little bit there, and again moving up here, and we've got the new Russian corps coming in here. The substantial thing here is the cannons have, the last cannon shot of the last term, have actually demoralised the Young Guard, which is quite an achievement, but there wasn't a lot of them already by the time we were moving across there. So that has not, they're not really lending support what I'd hope their support they would lend. Actually, they probably end up being a bit of a liability. But even with a morale penalty for the fatigue, they're still pretty good troops, so there's still some value there. Down here, the attack for the French went far more, was far more effective than I imagined. They came storming out of here, managed to chase off the Austrian cavalry, which they've just done, and just moved up here to tighten. They've had a little bit of combat there, but it's been ineffective so far. Not too sure what to do here. The Austrians, they're caught between two places, but we'll have to see. But it's gone very well for the French so far. The Austrians are not too sure how to respond to that at all. Down here to the south, let's move a lot here so we can see over the entire field. You can see the shape of the battlefield is very different. Stretched up far more over this side of the board now. What's happened? Okay, so let's start from down here. Now, they've tried, I think I said in my last video, these have just received an attack order. The French tried to maintain a line here and across, because not there's an awful lot of infantry here, but there are a lot of guns here they could bring across what they ideally want to see. The French are very low on guns. I mean, they've got some guns here, but there's very few, only 1 or 2 guns along this entire line here. So you don't want to see these guys coming across as well. However, they've charged across and broken through. And in the process, the Polish corps is now demoralised as well. I mean, he's get a bonus for being in the town, but Konowitz has fallen. Konowitz has pretty well fallen. I mean, unless there's some extremely effective fire here, there's not really enough here to launch a counter-attack at the moment. Or if they did, they might have some success, but that would leave them out here, not a safe place for them to be. There is an outpost here for the Young Guard. Not really sure what to do with him. He's got a little guard there, keeping an eye on them, so they're just looking at each other there. Along the line here, we can see that the French have been moving back. What the Prussians have just done is they've launched a large attack here from just south of the mill, north of the mill, into this area here. Obviously, hoping that these guys will work together, and I think that they feel if they can neutralise the Young Guard here, that's a lot of the best troops gone. I mean, there is the Old Guard, but they're relatively small. Moving along, you can see there's lots of artillery moving forward, which is one of the worries the French have, especially up here. So we've got into, I'm not even going to try and pronounce that name there, but the Guard and the Prussian cavalry, a lot of it is relocated up to this area here, mainly because of the threat of the artillery over here. And we can see the Russians have carried on moving forward. Okay, over on this side, the French did launch a large cavalry attack against the remainder of the Prussian cavalry there, Russian cavalry there, a lot of which are Cossacks. But haven't done very well. These guys attacked around here. You can see there was a bit of a counter attack. There was some squares here a minute ago, and it looks like lots of troops there, but there's actually a lot of casualties on those guys there. So that's, I mean, it's definitely slowed these guys around. But the Russians, which is hoping would slow down, have not. They've just carried on charging across, thinking, you know, that the Austrians can manage that side there. So that's where we are at the moment. We can see at the French line there. There's another hour to nightfall. There haven't been any substantial attacks. There's been bits of sniping each other. This area here has been most active. This area will be active in the next hour because the Allies are up close. Here, it'd be interesting to see. I mean, I'm not too sure. Can have a little think about it. I mean, one of the things I could do is commit the rest of these French, and then we could definitely have some success here. I think these might do it okay, do it already, but we don't leave this open. So, do I really want to? You know, does Napoleon really want to send those guys down here when they might be needed there? I don't know. I don't know. The other thing I didn't notice as well is there is one more French corps that have become, I think that's Laura Small, it's become demoralised. So that's 3 French corps demoralised. There is only 1 Allied corps demoralised, although there are, you know, it could go either way for quite a few units at the moment. Those French units that have just become demoralised have definitely taken the most casualties so far. The rest are in a far better shape. So, what do we expect in the next hour? This attack here, not quite sure how it will go. This is quite worrying for the Russians. I've sort of ignored it and carried on pushing here because this is where we need to be. There's various little bits of cavalry that are trying to come across the board here, but actually that cavalry force is quite substantial. That's going to cause a real problem. But then, let's not worry about it if these guys are going to smash a hole through here. At the back here, this is a pity. I mean, as Napoleon, I'd love to be able to launch a counter-attack there, but it's just not going to be worth it. It's going to take some time, and while these are here, this line here is not going to hold. It's going to push back, and we might end up with them being a little bit isolated. So we're just going to have to live with that and try and deal with the extra artillery that's obviously going to be in there tomorrow. So there we go. It's quite a changed battlefield. A lot of after the initial part of the day, which was a lot of round here of really banging heads, there's been a more fluid motion here as Napoleon is getting squeezed. But also, you know, it makes a smaller area for him to send reserves to as and when they can. I think still the north is the area of most concern, but the cavalry could do something about it. In the south, it's just a slow grind. No one looks like they're going to make a major breakthrough yet, but I'm sure that extra Allied artillery will make its presence known tomorrow. Okay, so 1 more hour before night time. So we'll see what goes on then. Okay, there we go.